Yeah. Well, anyways, I guess we can get started now.
Um, we are doing a guest designer, aka Ashlyn, Q&A session, where you get to ask her all of the questions that you've been dying to ask her. Um, but I have questions to start it off so that way we're not just sitting here making you guys pull out questions from thin air. Um, so I will go through them and then it'll probably spark some other questions. So feel free to speak up whenever you want. Um, but if we are all ready, I will start with the first one. Ashlyn, how are you today?
I'm great. My my kids have like it's the end of the school play season and they are finally putting on the production this week and I'm just like thank goodness. Like they've had early morning practices, like
Oh
after
boy.
school practices that just like make the whole day miserable and like they're just ensemble and it's been such a headache. So, I'm hoping they don't do it again.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Is
That's a lot.
it a show?
Yeah, is it a good show?
Is it a fun show?
No, it's Flat Stanley.
Okay.
I don't, apparently, I'm not one with the theater community because I have no idea what that
Wait,
is.
no, I did a flat I didn't know it was a play though, but I had a flat Stanley
It's a
growing
Yeah,
up.
like the
But
little
some people
paper.
don't know what that is.
like a kid's book, right? Or is it?
Yeah, there's a
Well,
like
it's like
junior,
um
there's like a junior chapter book series, but it's based off of like this little Flat Stanley boy. You cut him out of paper and you color
and then
him
you
and you have your relatives or your parents take him on vacation or yourself. And like this Flat Stanley gets to travel the world with all of these kids and like then the class gets to see
yeah, and
where
you like
Stanley has been.
yeah.
Hmm. I
Like
like
a
Yeah,
that.
and you take
very 90s,
but
early 2000s.
yeah.
It makes me think of Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Yeah, kind of like that, but just with flat Stanley. I didn't know it was a book or a play, so this is news to me.
Hmm.
Uh,
What was that in the chat?
You take Flat Stanley everywhere with you. You mail Stanley? That seems like
Yeah.
cheating.
you can mail Stanley to other relatives that if they're going like on a
Mm,
trip and you want your Stanley to go to Europe or wherever they're going, you can say, take Stanley with you.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah. So I didn't know it was a play. That sounds, I don't even know how you would make that a play, to be honest, but
Probably a play
Badly.
about the concept.
yeah, I mean, I guess. But I'm not one with like, I'm not up to date with anything theater related. So,
I had to do some of the props. Apparently,
mm.
he goes to a museum and there's a Mona Lisa character and Napoleon character. So I had to make a giant frame for Flat Stanley Kid to stand in. Um, and I made it and it was too big. And she was like, did I not tell you the size it needed to be? And I was like, no, you didn't. Then she was like, it needs to fit on this little gliding clothes rack. It was like, you didn't tell me this. We talked about this 3 days ago. So I had to remake it. And I think I shared on my stories the Napoleon and Mona Lisa ones. Those ones turned out pretty sick. But the rest of the props don't really match.
It's fine.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things, I don't think people are going to be flipping through photo albums and being like, that prop doesn't match in my child's play.
You never know. This might be somebody's Juilliard application.
True.
Yeah, what's the age group we're talking about here?
Like third through sixth graders, fourth through sixth graders.
Is that Flat Stanley? Oh.
Yeah. So the costume is made out of foam, and the kid has to stand with his arms out like that the whole time.
Poor child.
That's funny.
What a
Oh my
sucker.
gosh.
How does it feel
Okay.
to be on the opposite end? Because you used to usually be the interviewer.
I
Yeah.
know. It feels weird, I guess. And I really miss being on the other end.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, Ashlyn, along with only one other person, right? It was just you and
Lacey.
Lacey,
Lacey.
used to have a podcast where they would interview people and chat. And um, from what I remember, it looked like you guys were taking a long break. So there's a chance it could come back.
Yeah, I think in the future, if I have the space and availability in my life to do it, I would like to do it again. Um, Lacey started a full-time job, so we kind of had to back off of it, and I didn't want to do it by
Mm,
myself.
A lot of work.
yeah,
And yeah,
it's
we
a
kind
lot
of
of
just
work to just
stopped
fit in
before
an
it started
evening.
failing.
It had a sick name.
The Grateful Thread.
Yeah,
Taylor was on it.
I was on it. Some people are here because they found me from it, so it's pretty cool. Okay. Well, I will ask the first question because Olivia seems like she's preoccupied. Um,
Thank
Real
you.
quick,
Sorry.
I've got my hat.
oh, oh yeah, I
Hey.
also have
Oh, hey,
one.
Threadhead.
Yeah.
It's so good. Okay, just
But no,
kidding.
you can go ahead.
Oh, okay. How did you get into pattern writing and designing?
I got into pattern writing because I fell in deep down into the rabbit hole of quilting and didn't want to follow other people's patterns. So I started doing my own thing and was constantly getting asked if I would turn it into a pattern. And my answer was no, because they were all, is that my thing? Sorry. They were all like improv quilts. So I had had some experience with my previous Etsy business in documenting and making my products into patterns and like patterning them. And I liked that, but at the time I hadn't really considered like making that a thing that I do. It was just a little side bonus for people, I guess. So when I got into pattern design, I had somewhat of a grasp, like direction wise, but I guess I really needed help with like the graphic creations and like actually making the patterns to like industry standard. So I did one of the pattern writing courses and learned a lot in just like formatting and all of that stuff.
You said that a lot of your stuff, I mean, you said a lot of your stuff in the beginning was like improv stuff. And so it was probably hard to write patterns for that type of style. But I think you still have a good chunk of that style in your patterns that you bring in now, right?
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, but but I like it and I love it, so I make it for other people.
How do you
Um,
tackle an improv quilt pattern?
um, the one that I released last spring and then the one that I released last fall, they're block based. And so you just create the pieces, and I guess technically you could rearrange them if you want to, but they're created in a way that each block fits and creates like an overall improv design.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. I feel like if I were to tackle improv, I would start really overthinking
Yeah,
everything. So
me too.
I
Anytime
know.
I think about doing improv, my brain like
Yeah,
short
just the
circuits.
like the cut list alone for that quilt would be a
Yeah,
nightmare. And so making the blocks, I think there's like 20-ish blocks in one of the patterns, and they're
Mm.
all just different. And so that takes a long time to write and get
yeah,
everything. I don't know, like what there's not many quilts that have that many blocks or even half that many. So
That
making
many
sure,
unique blocks for sure. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for sure. And then like this is why I'm scared to write an FPP pattern because I'm like, how do you figure out even fabric requirements for that? Because it's
yeah,
just like kind of like weird pieces and I don't know.
yeah, I feel you. That's my hurdle for that as well.
I'm like, I feel like I would really enjoy designing and writing the rest of an FEP pattern, but the fabric requirements, yeah, I'll pass on that. I mean, maybe eventually I'll do it, but gonna have to talk to someone that's an expert in that before I do that.
Um, what type of things do you think influence your design style the most? And that could be things that you make for yourself, things that you write, things that you make for specific events. Like, do you have a design style or influence for all of them or individual ones?
I'm really interested in like street art and on the flip side also museum art. Like I really love just wandering museums and they don't necessarily have to be fine art. I It's an odd thing, but I'm really interested in like the um display designs and how all of that works and just thinking about that creativity. And I get a lot of inspiration from other artists, not from their work, but just them working in a creative field that fuels them and getting to do a thing that they love. Um, that's one side of the inspiration. And then as far as like my design creation inspiration, I would say that's mostly the street art. That's the buildings, um, you know, flying into a city and seeing the layout before you land and everything from way up high. That's it. And I think I've realized that I form a lot of pattern ideas from just the words of like city planning or architecture, and then I like to think of what the a quilt named that would be, as opposed to seeing a specific architectural element and then making a pattern design like, based on that is like very
Hmm.
specific thing.
Um, a question in chat. Do you have a favorite city you've seen?
Um, actually, that's a tough question. Definitely Budapest. But my second one, and this is a silly answer because we didn't see the actual city itself, but Taylor and I were in Chicago 2 years ago for H&H, and I forced them to go on a Frank Lloyd Wright tour, and that was like one of the highlights of my
Yeah,
creative
that
life.
was really fun. Chicago has a lot of cool
Yeah,
buildings just in general. I also love Budapest.
yeah.
Interesting.
Like one of my favorite places.
I need to go back.
Um, do you have a sewing or quilting technique or block that you love to add into your patterns? So it's something that like you usually can't find yourself straying too far away from.
A checkerboard or like a nine
Mm.
patch or some variation of that. And if my design is missing something, I really want to add a checkerboard and have to talk myself out of it a lot of times. Um, and I'm also pretty partial to like a log cabin, and my improv kind of gets pieced in a log cabin formation a lot of the time. So that's that's my thing.
Do you think that your checkerboard obsession in your designs stems from anything in life?
Well, I I fear that it's like the millennial cliche checkerboard design that we all fell for. Um, but I also just like it reminds me of Vans. It reminds me of like classy checkerboard floors, and I like it. It's really graphic while being just little squares.
I do feel like it stands the test of time too. Like I feel like a checkerboard. Yeah, like it's having a moment right now, but I do feel like it's had a moment like throughout all of history consistently.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Vans or Converse, like they'll never actually go out of style. Like,
Yeah. I kind of have to check myself when I'm designing something with the checkerboard and be like, am I doing this because it's popular or am I doing it because I also just want to add another checkerboard into something?
I
Yeah,
do
I
that for a
think
lot of things.
I see checkerboards or nine patches or something, and I instantly think of Vans. But I know that that's because of how I grew up and like the time period that I grew up in. So I could
Yeah.
imagine that someone sees that from like a different generation and they have something to know or something else in mind that they remember
Yeah,
or
like
visualize.
I almost like immediately think of like the MTV. Do you remember what the MTV like little logos that were at the bottom of the screen where they had checkerboard and bright pink and
Neon.
neon color? Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah. Apparently Vans are the new dad shoe.
oh,
Oh,
okay. So got it.
oh
Like all the
no.
dads are millennial men and
Olivia
they all wear
strictly wears
Vans.
Vans. So
Yeah. Okay, I can listen to my Nickelback and I can wear my bands and I can be the ultimate divorce dad. Okay. If you could have your quilt designs featured anywhere, past or present, where would that be?
Um, when I read that question, I was like, I don't know. Not that I've like done everything, but I was like, I feel like I've checked a lot of my boxes, but I then I thought a little bit harder and I was like, I would definitely like to do like an installation or my own show someday where I get to
Mm,
just put a lot of thought into the pieces and make them, I guess, go back to where I started with quilting in the direction I was heading before patterns took over my life.
do you miss that side? Like I know it's really hard to once it becomes your business to I guess find the joy not
Yeah.
find the joy in quilting, but
Yeah, no, I
to separate
really,
it
really
from
miss it
work
because
and
it's,
yeah.
play.
yeah, it feels like work sometimes. And I also just don't have time. Like
Yeah.
I tend to design and do the admin stuff as my like work, and then I treat the sample making, sewing as like my hobby. So I need to work better at separating that, but I also just need to like maybe chill and do less so that I have more time to do the quilting that I want and sewing that I want.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that it's hard to prioritize fun sewing. Or it doesn't feel fun because I'm just thinking about the actual sewing that I should be doing.
Yeah.
So,
Um, if you were to have your own show where it's either in one location or it's a traveling show, what do you envision the theme of the collection to be, or the colors, or anything? Do you have any type of visual of that in your head?
Yeah, I have been obsessed with Anthony Bourdain since I was like small. Like I wanted him to be not my dad, but like maybe my uncle, who's just like kind of a scoundrel and comes around sometimes, but he's actually like a pretty good person and does cool stuff. So I would have to say it's like something like that. I don't know that I'm as cool as him or anywhere near as cool, but Something along those lines, and maybe in the form of just textile creation and tours and that kind of thing.
That's cool.
Mm. I
At
think it
first
would
I
be
thought you
super.
were,
Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
at first I thought you were thinking like it would just be influenced, like you would do a collection that would be based off of him. But I see what you
Oh
mean
my
now.
God, I thought you were talking about like a show, like a TV show. That's hilarious.
No,
Oh,
sorry.
I
When
mean
you
that's
said,
also.
sorry, I was going sorry, back to the where you would want to see your work, and it would be like some type of showing of
Um,
your work in form of many pieces.
I mean, I like the direction of a TV show as well.
okay. Add that
I feel like
to your list of questions.
Sorry.
I was like, I did not see this one on the list that you sent me.
No. No. Because to me, I see your work fitting in perfect in like an airport. Because
I
you know
was
how you
about
go
to
to
say that.
airports and you see all of the
Yeah,
art? I see your
there's a
work
really
being in
cool
an
quilt
airport.
on. There's a really cool quilt on at
Oh,
my
really?
airport, and every time I see like these awesome quilts there, I'm like, this is sick and beautiful. Makes me
Yeah.
happy. I wonder, yeah.
So that's what I visualize for you, but I wanted to know what you visualize for yourself when it comes to seeing your work somewhere.
My art, I honestly think about airports, but my art kind of leans like more naturey than or like natural feeling than my patterns. It's just kind of like the polar opposite, I guess. I have this butterfly quilt that was one of my first things that I made, and I made the wings out of like reclaimed uh like parachute from like the Korean War. And so that is like the orange, bright orange of the monarch wings, and then I quilted the black detail of everything.
Can you
And it's
send a
like
picture?
I can send a picture. It's suspended in like using mesh, and
Mm.
it didn't get into QuiltCon the first year that I submitted it, and I just kind of gave up on it.
Submit it again. There were several people that had, well, it might be too
Well,
late now, depending on when you made
yeah,
it.
now it's too late. But I've
Yeah.
always wanted to like create a show around that.
Mm. I do like the idea of quilts not just hanging flat on a wall and like having depth and shape and stuff like that. So
We'll see if I can find
it's
that.
Yeah,
very
that sounds
interesting.
really cool. Yeah, we should have made this into a like trunk show.
I can pull that up really quick. I just did it.
Now, if we're talking TV shows, I see myself as like a Hannah Montana TV show because that life seemed so fun. I loved watching Hannah Montana growing
That was
up.
a great show. I'm
I
I'm
love that
really
show.
glad we grew up in that in Hannah Montana era, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean now looking back and seeing like how messed up the working conditions were, not so much, but you know,
Yeah. At the time, it was great
at
to
the
feel
time,
like there was someone my age who was living their best life.
yeah.
um,
Yeah.
My computer is
I
being so slow.
I feel like your work leaning more naturey. Someone said that nature park visitor centers could be awesome for that.
Yeah.
I see that too. I see that in like maybe like I guess it depends on the type of nature you see it as, but like mountain lodges
Yeah.
could be nice.
Cool.
Um,
Nature centers.
mhm.
I've always wanted to make like I have a um friend that or my husband's cousin is a geologist and he has these beautiful geologist like maps where it shows like all the different layers. I don't, there's so many
Mm.
different ones, but it like
Oh yeah, I know what you're
the
talking about.
colors in them are so beautiful. Like I don't know who's picking out these colors, and I feel like they're accidentally picking the most beautiful colors ever. Like I think, I think it's a bunch of scientists that are just like, yeah, this one works, this one works. And it just happens to be like so beautiful. And 'cause I don't know if they actually care about. I don't know, but there's so many that, and he's made some for like his master's degree or PhD. I don't know what he got, but I think it'd be so cool to turn something like that into a quilt.
That would be sick. Yeah, those colors are so good. They're like the like retro 70s
Retro,
colors.
like pale colors, though.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know. I should at least get some inspo for color
Yeah,
schemes.
you'll have to find one of these maps or whatever they're called in the geology world for
I don't want to say the wrong thing.
um because I can't imagine map is the right word. That seems too simple for it being such a huge study of
To, to,
everything
yeah,
underground.
Topographic.
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Topography.
You'll have to find one and
Okay, yeah.
share it because that could be fun. That could be like a cool improv thing of just like sewing random wavy lines with new
I
colors.
know, like, yeah, because it's, well, I actually have a huge one in my house that shows all of the volcano eruptions um that have happened in Washington, Oregon. And it's like blue and orange. I mean, it's really pretty, but it's, oh, excuse me.
I'm trying to find the
Um,
picture.
well, while you find it, do you want to talk about your go-to color palettes? And if there is a
Yes.
distinction between the stuff that you put on your covers and the stuff that you make for yourself.
Yes. I think it's evolving and I think people are noticing that. Somebody from my guild was like, and I overheard it was at So Day, and they're like, "What's up with Ashlyn and all of these bright colors lately?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm just changing a little bit. Gosh,
Just
Wait,
having
that's
fun.
crazy to overhear.
let a girl live." Like it wasn't derogatory, but it definitely like wasn't meant for me to hear.
That would stick with me forever.
I mean, same. I'm sharing it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually was surprised how many colors you picked for the cover of this one.
It was kind of hard actually, but the one that we didn't choose, that one had even more colors.
Yeah, too many colors. We had to,
Which is always hard because
yeah,
it's so nice whenever things have the ability to use, well, to me, I think lots of colors pull from your scraps. So you're not really limited or having to find a bunch of colors that fit together. You can
yeah,
just pull. But in a mystery situation,
yeah.
it's always really hard because it's like,
Yeah,
I
when
don't
I
even
say
know
t
how to
ex
direct you.
yeah, like when I say too many colors, like the pattern was beautiful, not too many colors in the actual pattern, but like to actually try to break it down for a mystery. I was like, well,
Yeah,
can you combine these? Like, can you combine these colors and then combine these colors and combine, and then it lost the pattern. So I was like, nah, it's
yeah.
just not
No, I
gonna.
I told a bunch of
Yeah.
people, I was like, I was really happy that you were like, that's really not the same pattern anymore. Let's
Yeah.
not let's not
Yeah.
like degrade that one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was like, you use that on your own. Yeah.
Keep that one for crazy
The
people
way
that
that
want to
it was,
try to do the pattern.
yeah, the way it was intended was better than, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I think about you and your design style, Ashlyn, I think back to like way early on where things were black or charcoal backgrounds with like darker colors with it. And so
Yeah.
seeing
I
this cover, I think it is different, but I don't know if that's a difference between what you like to have in your house versus what you are now trying to put on your covers, or if it's a true shift in I'm just moving from low contrast to bright pops of color.
yeah. I think I try not to be like a sellout and choose colors that I think people will like.
Yeah.
Um, I I feel like a lot of people are this way, but like my favorite colors that I wear versus my favorite colors to put in my home versus what I like to sew with are all pretty wildly different. Like
Yeah, I feel that.
my clothing is lots of black. Like usually double, triple black happening in one
Black on
outfit.
black on black.
Yeah. Um, and then like my home has always been like really light and modern and eclectic, I guess, with the art. I like just like a clean canvas kind of feeling and then let my art kind of draw attention.
Yeah.
I guess, sorry. And then my quilts are kind of all over the place, I guess. Olivia, you were like one of my first pattern testers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
like that was all the charcoal and gray. I design a lot in monochrome to start with. It just like, I don't know, it helps my
mm,
brain to see it all in monochrome, but then I get really stuck there and I have a hard time reassigning colors once I've made the design in the colors that they are.
Yeah, I usually start with the most horrendous colors.
That
just
would be a
like
better
pick things
idea.
from
It can only
like
go up from here.
the built-in color palette on whatever it is I'm designing on. I just like pick random colors.
Yeah, like I don't pay attention to that at all. I'm only
You're
paying
like,
attention to ballet. So
if it
I
looks
guess I
good
mean,
in these colors.
yeah, I was like, I could see that because I'm not wasting my time. I'm like, if it doesn't look, I could see the design. I'm like, all right, if it doesn't look good, if I think there's a direction, then I'll start playing with colors. But if not, no, I don't. Won't even try. Sometimes I do feel like
It's
a sellout with my colors too, because I think it was like one pattern that I like made with a brown background, and someone commented on my Instagram saying it's a gross
my eyes.
color. It was like, oh, they said my eyes hurt. Really mean.
Ew, what a jerk.
Yeah.
People say
And
the
now
I make that joke a
wildest
lot.
things on Instagram.
I think about it all the time, and I'm like, okay, now I really
We have to laugh about it because if not, it's going to just be a negative comment. So
my eyes hurt. It was literally like
yeah.
I was like, well, that's a new one.
What a
So
jerk.
Yeah. In the
yeah,
design process of coming up with new quilt patterns, Taylor will send pictures over and I'm like, my eyes.
my eyes. I just know people
I
don't
just
like
really like
brown
to,
that much. I think if you use brown, people are like adverse to brown. Adverse? Am I saying that right?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's
I love
a
brown.
millennial thing
To not like
and
brown?
to not like brown because our parents had brown everywhere. Everything
everything
was
was
brown.
This
Tuscan.
was not a millennial
Yes.
that commented this brown comment, though. I will say that.
Well, maybe it was a reformed person from our generation or from our parents'
Uh,
generation who decided to not want brown and grapes and wine in their house as decor anymore. So much brown. So yeah, so much faux wood paneling.
Everybody
yeah,
say
I'm like, I
your
want the wood paneling. Give
Yeah,
me the wood
now
paneling.
I want
We're,
something other than white and gray now.
yeah,
Like
I
I'm
was like,
trying really hard to find stuff to get rid of.
yeah, it's like I need the natural, like woods and all of it.
Yeah. Um And then last question that I have, which I think you kind of talked about before, and it was kind of shocking that I commented on,
Yeah.
but what is something that you do that you believe would go against the quilt police rules?
You're right. We talked about the imperfect half square triangles. I was like spying through the Discord earlier and I was like, you guys are all way better quilters. I was like, man, you guys take your time. Like somebody showed the back of their block and I was like, no, like
Be me.
I mean, I guess I would put in the work for like a special quilt show quilt, but for my samples, like I don't have enough time
You know
to.
what I don't understand is how people make perfect stacks of their half square triangles. I
Yeah.
I just like I don't know, my stacks always are just like just thrown together. I can't like I don't know. I don't have the patience to make a perfect stack. And it's always so satisfying and I'm like, damn, that really does make for a good picture and looks really nice and
No, I
yeah.
like them scattered.
Yeah, mine yeah. I don't know. I think I'm just like a chaotic chaotic quilter.
Okay, I'm
No,
sending that picture. I
now
emailed
that
it to you because my computer's being a bummer.
hmm, um now that I've really thought about it, the fact that you have so much improv pieces and history and design styles and all of that, it makes sense that
Yeah. Because
you
you're like,
wouldn't
this is
trim your
annoying.
HSDs.
Yeah,
Because eventually,
like I
like
just
you could
want to
sew it
get there.
together and it doesn't matter. And
But
in the grand scheme of things, it's still going to
it
work.
doesn't matter, but it will be more annoying later on when you're having to fudge every single seam,
Yeah.
in
Although
my opinion. Because like if I'm constantly like having to move points over to make them like line up, it's just gonna drive me
I will
insane.
say I just got a quilt back from my quilter yesterday and it looks amazing. One, the pattern is super like it is set up for all the fudgers out there. Like none of the blocks actually meet to like make that miss obvious and it's like it's just creating
Oh.
negative space. Um so it looks good and I really had to stretch and fudge the blocks themselves like while putting the rows together.
Yeah, I've done the tugging and the squishing under the foot to like
Yep.
make things line up and
That,
Or
that's
like
kind of how
slightly
Trailhead
like
was.
bend-
Trailhead.
Yeah, Trailhead had a lot
Yeah,
of room for error.
it had a lot of room for error, and there's a lot of trimming room. And then the blocks did not butt up against each other at all. So you could just like, it literally didn't matter.
yeah, it's definitely given me, I guess, inspiration to think about more opportunity to do that in designs and set people up for like accidental success, I guess.
More beginner friendly.
Yeah.
for sure. Does
That cool.
anyone else have any questions about quilting or anything else? It doesn't have to be quilting
After I
related.
just said how you guys are all way better at quilting, really selling myself. Ask away, guys.
Do you have um do you have your year 2026 planned out for quilt pattern releases? Have you
Yes.
planned that far? Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're better than
I
me.
haven't I haven't started 27. Well, this is my
Oh,
I
that's
always
far
plan
away.
it. I haven't
Oh,
started.
same.
Like I usually have like an idea of what will be like January, but I'm not going there. Um, in theory, I'm gonna have all of my patterns written by the end of May, and in the summer, I'm going to make time to quilt what I want to quilt. I'm
Mm.
trying to be optimistic, but also it's my plan, and deep down, I know that I'm probably not going to do it.
Yeah, Olivia, remember when I said I was also going to do
Ha 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 ha. We can all laugh about that.
that? I mean, if you can do that, that's great. I feel like that is the goal. I just like I change my mind too much, so I've learned to not do that.
Yeah.
Because by the time it came around to writing that pattern, I was like, actually, I don't like this one anymore. So
I think you should just stick with it.
Or also like you have something planned. And I think that's what you run into more than anything is you have something planned for, I don't know, 6 months from now. And that time comes and you have now gotten some inspiration from something that looking you weren't looking
yeah,
forward, you didn't foresee, and you're like, I have to run with this right now.
yeah. Like it's like I find something cooler and like design something better, or it's something I like that feels like it fits more of the time. Like whether it's like, all right, this will be a great autumn release or whatever, and then I just I have to run with it. So that's definitely the case. I'm gonna ask the question.
Um, do you have any suggestions for what you think would be successful for quilting this mystery pattern?
Are you quoting yourself or going to long run?
Well, I
I,
usually,
oh,
uh,
sorry, go ahead.
sorry, I asked the question. Is that okay to unmute?
Yeah, yeah, that's
No,
fine.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I usually do them myself. Well, one, because I may be a control freak, but also I don't like spending $150 to go send my quilt out. So,
Yeah,
At a
um,
very.
minimum.
so, but I have done kind of like serpentine stitching and, like a lot of straight line quilting. So this one has a lot of straight line. So I didn't know if Ashlyn had seen something that was like really successful or somebody else could share. I'm open to, I'm making it for a friend, so I'm open to sending it out.
I think my take on quilting is either like you love it or you hate it, so take this with a grain of salt. Um, I I like to emphasize like the lines that aren't as common in the quilt. Like there's a lot of half square triangles, but since it's so like grid-like and linear, I would like to add like a diagonal line in my quilting to kind of offset that and complement the half square triangles. Um, in pantographs, that's usually a lot easier, and it's a matter of like adding complementary texture to your quilt versus adding lines like drawing on top of it. So that's usually how I make my decision. And I tend to not, I know you're going to do domestic, but for anybody thinking about pantographs, I like to not choose patterns with a lot of spacing in between. I like both the spacing and the design to have pretty equal distribution of like negative space so that it's more of an even texture. But for yours, I think like a crosshatch kind of thing would be a really good way to go.
Yeah, I was thinking a diagonal grid.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, like a
and
cross on the diagonal.
yeah,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and like something fun that you could also do is instead of just doing like a classic grid, you could do like two lines that are like
Mm-hmm.
quarter inch apart and
Mm-hmm.
then like 2 inches over and do something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Like I've done that and it looks really good.
Like
Yeah,
little
like a
wings.
Um,
plaid
I've done that
effect.
before.
Yeah,
a
cute
plaid
plaid.
effect, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Um,
I actually do enjoy doing it myself. I
yeah,
mean, it's a little painful, but I feel very like, oh my God, I did that. At the end,
yeah.
I made the whole thing.
Well, also it's like you're working on your time frame too. Like you can be like, all right, well, I need this to be done.
Sure.
You're not.
Mhm.
I,
So,
Did you say tomorrow?
no, no.
I mean, I have a whole quilt that needs to be done tomorrow. So,
Well, my friend's birthday was like the 1st of January, and I said, well, I'll get it to you sometime in 2026 because I have a running full-time job. So Yeah,
Yeah.
seems like it's the right year still before you turn them.
Yeah,
So
the baby quilt that I was supposed to have a quilt for is turning 2 next week.
we all have that. Anyway, thank you for the yes. Um, I just wanted to plug, I took Jackie Gearing's, like one of the last classes that she took at QuiltCon. I had been following
Okay.
her, and that like really gave me a lot of
Mm.
courage to like, okay, I can do this. It's not as hard as it seems, and like just like really trying some slightly different things or making just some slight adjustments that really make a nice impact on the quilt. So like your suggestion about kind of spacing it out, putting a couple like a quarter inch together,
Yeah.
something like that was
Small little details. Yeah.
Mhm.
thank you.
Mhm.
I will
I
also
haven't tried
say,
any of her like fancier things, like doing the orange peeler or anything like that. It's just
yeah.
I've done a couple of them. Smaller quilts are better.
That's what I was gonna
yeah,
say. I think my
yeah,
stuff is
I'm
too
I'm
big.
like not
yeah. I'll do a baby quilt like that maybe,
baby
but
quilts, like I'm
not
like, oh, I'll try
anything
this.
more than that.
Yeah, definitely
I did
practice
a
on something smaller.
yeah, I did like an orange peel on like a small throw, and that was it's a lot of like you guys just have to stay really organized when you're mapping it. I got a little confused and had to unpick a lot of stitches. So, but
That'd
you
be
know.
the end of my project.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, that's going in the wet pile.
But she was a great teacher. And really like she was like, no, look at my quilts. They all have mistakes. And I was like, I don't think that's
Yeah.
actually true. But you know, and she was like, just do it, just try, it's fine. I was like,
So
okay.
Jackie's a liar. Got it.
Yeah, she was just tell me, just do it. I was like, okay. Anyway, thank you.
Carrie, did you have a question?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I'm currently in a fight with my Arete because of that, having to unpick so many quilting,
Yeah.
so many lines of quilting stitches. I've quilted it twice already, and I only have it quilted half of it. So
I've only unpicked, I had unpicked almost like a full quilt when I first started of quilting stitches, and I don't think I've done that since because I was like, I'm never doing that again. That was horrible. I just had so much puckering, like I didn't understand tension or anything, and I mean, now I feel like I catch up way sooner, but um, yeah,
Yeah, I hate basting a quilt. I actually hate sewing like the last two long seams on a quilt top and then having to
yeah,
press it.
Oh
And that's
gosh,
yeah.
that
probably
would
It's so
more
not
about
fun.
my
kill
sewing
me.
space because I
That's
feel
why
like
my
if I had
garden
a
glow is just like sitting in the corner because it's just all these long side
yeah,
lines. I'm like, "Ah, I can't do it.
yeah,
Why
if
are they so not fun? It feels like it shouldn't be that
I
There's
bad.
also
yeah,
I
there's so
blame
many
the
points to math.
ironing. I blame the ironing board though. Like if it was
No, yeah,
larger,
everything's falling off.
yeah, and it's like you have the point unless you're rich and have the really nice like $400 ironing rectangle. And I know you
Well,
can
I
make
don't have.
them,
irony rectangle.
but I don't have space for that.
Yeah,
So
and the
okay, I
point.
have. How do I change my video to be? Okay, I have this big island it's a big square.
Oh, is that the
Still
IKEA?
sucks to do. Still sucks.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
it's
you
not
have
that,
that, and then you have your wool pressing mat like
yes.
smaller on top of it.
But then the wool pressing part kind of slides a little bit.
It's not
And
mounted.
then I also always have a bunch of shit behind it, like where because that's where my cutting mat is. So unless I clear off the entire table, which if you everyone quilts here knows that's really annoying and not
Yeah,
really
you don't do
practical to
that.
do. No, you don't do that. No one does that. So it's like it's a great big surface, and also like the wood on top is like very sanded and smooth. Like I don't know, it's like the Home Depot workbenches. Like if you ever felt them, they're very soft. So fabric just like slides over it. I feel like I need to like almost put like a I don't know somewhere that's
Like
like
a
grippier.
silicone.
Yeah, something that like holds the fabric better.
I will say I
Um,
use my like Ironmatic makes those mats. and they're larger than the like pressing mat, like the wool ones. And it's nice that I can just kind of like throw it on like our dining table if I want to take up more space. I downsized my sewing table, so I've been using an ironing board now, but I used to have that on one end of my table and my cutting mat on the other, and then my machine like kind of in the corner. And those work really well. They have like little grippies on the back, and then like you can
Mm.
like they don't like um I don't know, radiate heat, and so it just like stays on the surface level.
Yeah. I'm laughing at Shanda's
A meltdown.
comment because I know it's my pattern that she's testing my next one. And I'm about to have to do that. And I'm like,
Yeah. The last quilt that I fully just ignored the borders on, it was Pharaoh. And I looked at it and I said, it doesn't need borders. I'm not doing that. And
okay, but
it does it, all the borders are cut. They're just sitting on my table and I refuse to add them.
I don't mind doing borders, okay, because there's no point. I'm cool with that. Throw me
Yeah,
a border,
I
sure, I don't
exactly.
care.
I've
It's cool.
had bad experience with not pinning and doing the like loosey
You can
goosey,
pin.
just like sew it as you go, cut it at the end when you're done with the edge, and having wavy borders. And that is like my biggest pet peeve is wavy borders. And there's nothing I can do to avoid it unless I pin or glue
Oh,
based.
I pin my borders.
So I do not like the process of laying out the entire quilt on a surface, cutting the thing exactly the right size, finding the middle between the edges, and then like doing that over and over again to
Oh,
pin it
you're doing the
properly.
most. I don't do
Yeah.
any of that. You know what I
I do
do?
Because
3 pins.
yeah,
I
I
do three
can't.
pins and I lean against my desk. Okay, I'll show you what I do. Okay, so I have like a big thing and I lean against and I hold the big top and then I pin there and then I move it and then I lean again so it doesn't slip off. And then I pin there. And that's what I do because otherwise it slips off. So yeah, you're doing way more than I
Yeah,
don't know. I know in my patterns they all say to measure because that is technically the way you're supposed to do it. And but I
yeah,
don't do
which is
it that
good
way.
because I have to do that. So I'm glad that you
Yeah.
add that in there.
If
Yeah.
someone wants
So
to
I'm
send me all of their borders and they want to put together the last bit of my garden glow, I'll do it. I'll swap.
We're just gonna start
wait, does
trading
Garden Glow
tasks.
have borders?
No, but it has so many
Okay.
points for these long seams.
Yeah.
See that I don't mind.
Okay, let's swap. I'll take like
That's what,
6
yeah,
borders.
it's the ironing part after that I cannot stand. The long
Yeah,
pressing of
you're right. You're right.
That's the only time I press to the side.
everything else is open and then the
Everyone's
one
Everything
part.
else is
quiet.
open. The last long sleeves are always to the side.
Yeah, that's if I
Not
have to
doing
add
it.
a border, then all of my borders are usually pressed to the side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by that point, I'm just like angry, pushing the fabric around.
Yeah. So Shanda, if I have one block done of my next pattern,
Oh.
do you think I'll be able to finish it tomorrow?
Yeah,
Well,
you got it.
when did I post my one block?
Oh, true. We can.
No, I think it took me several days after that.
Okay. Okay.
I finished it yesterday.
Which I think
Which
everyone
I
is going
really
to
wanted
love
to
this quilt.
finish it earlier, but I literally had a meltdown doing the borders
I'm telling you, borders are the worst.
because they were like
But
too
the border's
long.
so cute. Guys, the
It's
border
really
is so cute.
cute.
It's really cute.
Yeah,
It
And
you
was like
can't
the
go without
opposite
that.
of my Folkwell border that was too short, and I
it
had
was
to
too
like unpick
long.
the seams. It was too long. So I was like having
Mm.
to, yeah, I had to lay it all on the floor and like find the middle and do do do. I was so annoyed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
See?
And I had to do
I
it
feel
four
like I could.
times.
Oh, okay. Not getting me excited for that. So I'll share it to you guys in the totem set pattern
I was
group
like,
because I feel like
next time I'm making a baby quilt.
no, but
Like,
yours is it's really cute. She did like a green background
I hate
one.
this quilt and
But
I hate myself and I hate Taylor. And it is really cute though, and it'll be really good for spring. It's a really cute spring pattern.
yeah,
Mhm.
it is really cute. I don't know, maybe my next pattern will be simple. The one after this.
She
If
says
I'm
every
capable of
three
doing
Famous
that.
last
weeks.
words.
Famous
Yeah.
last words. I don't know, like
I
just
think the
don't have it. I don't
last
know.
simple quilt that I remember you doing is Booth's Corner. I think that's the only one. To me, you can
Yeah.
sew Booth's Corner in a day.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yep, that's probably the last one.
And then in this
Actually, that might
one,
be my only simple pattern, and that might be my only beginner pattern, really.
yeah,
It's good to know that's fast because that's my next make for my brother.
Oh, great. That is
super
quick.
fast.
Super fast, very
Minimal
easy.
colors, super fast to cut, super fast to sew,
Which one is
Looks
that?
and it
good.
doesn't look simple.
Boost corner, it's let me see. It's this is the one I haven't this is actually
Like a
like
gray background with blue.
Ashland vibes with this color palette.
Mhm.
Um which this color palette is very different from the rest of my covers, and I sometimes I'm like, should I make a new cover for that? But yeah, that was quick. I think yeah, that is definitely my most simple one. If you don't count cubism from the Toad Circle, I think cubism's very simple. It's a good one too.
For
But
no one who asked, if you are wanting to make a really cool quilt that you can use minimal colors on, because I know that that's usually my biggest pain is trying to figure out colors that go together. Ashland's Star Lake City, fantastic. Love that thing. I come back to that thing and I just stare at that quilt. I love the fact that you paired green and charcoal together for that cover. I
oh
love that
That
yeah,
so
was
much.
just selfish.
that was just
How I
It's
wanted
so
it to
nice.
be.
Yeah. That's one of those that like I would make that and it would be based off of the colors that I wear versus the colors that I normally would choose for my quilts or the colors I would normally choose for my house. That that exact quilt is a representation of like how I dress. So I love that.
someone asked a question in the chat for you, Ashlyn.
Ashlyn, could you talk about the business side of being a pattern designer? Has it been sustainable and enjoyable for you? Um, Sustainable energy-wise, ish. I mean, I have 5 kids, so I deal with a lot of like guilt, and I'm not the primary like breadwinner for our family. And so sometimes I get in my head over like, is this worth like traveling away from my kids like pretty often for? Is this worth um, the amount of time that I put into it for what I get paid? No. Dead serious no. Like writing a pattern, publishing it. Taylor and I talk about this almost every time we see each other. It's
Like we're like,
just
it's not a good business model.
exactly like we've fully come to the conclusion. It's all of the extra things like the community. Like I would die for so many of the people that I know. Like they're amazing, and I love being a part of that, which I know I could be a part of if I wasn't a designer. Um, but just the like friends and relationship side kind of like I think keep you going in that regard. And then enjoyable, yes, most of the time, unless I've given myself an unrealistic deadline and put a bunch of things on my calendar for like the first 3 months of a year and did that like 9 months in advance and didn't realize how crappy that would be.
I do that all the time.
Um, so former Ashlyn can be a real pain in the butt for current Ashlyn. But yeah, I like it, but also long story, it's not a great sustainable business unless you're doing more simple patterns, I think, and able to just crank them out that are just like a single block or something. And I don't know, there's always the discussion amongst designers like, what should we be pricing our stuff at? What is fair? And like, obviously, the customers are always going to dictate what is successful and what how much we can price our patterns for. Um, so like the magic is in numbers and being able to, I don't know, sustain that. I'm just really fortunate that like we don't rely on my income necessarily. So I have that flexibility and freedom, although when I'm being really hard on myself, like that's just a way to kick myself. Like this doesn't matter. You should be able to go like to the moon and like have all the freedom. But I don't know. Uh, do you get writer's block when pattern writing? Um, if block is just like having a hard time stop or starting, then yes. Like I usually can design it really quickly, like the design itself, and that's something I get really drawn into. And then I love like the fabric selection process. I don't love cutting the fabric, but it's fine. And I like sewing it together and seeing how it comes to life and becomes a 3D object. Um, and then it just kind of has to sit somewhere for a little bit before I can jump into the actual instruction writing.
Do
And
you make your quilts first, or do you write first and then? Because
I,
I'm always
I,
fascinated by this.
yeah, I make them first and then write them because I kind of need like the physical act of doing it to be able to write it a little bit. Um, although like I am making it from how I imagine I would write it, but
Mhm.
that always gives me like a little bit of, I guess, like reverse engineering to like be able to know any sticking points in that assembly so that when I go to write it, I can switch how that's done.
Yeah, and
That
also like
has,
think about tips and notes and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. So it has come back to bite me where I've made a sample and decided that that is like a really like unsuccessful route to go in like completing that block and it wasn't able to be like shifted. So that
Mm.
sample got scrapped. I mean, not discarded, but it wasn't a sample for the pattern. So yeah, that that tends to be my block is getting to the writing and getting to the graphic design because I like to work in big chunks of time as opposed to like 1 or 2 hours. I would like to just do 6 or 8 hours of staring at Illustrator and getting all the graphics done.
That's how I am. I need to
Yeah,
bang it all out in 1 week, like
yeah,
one few days.
yeah,
If I drag it out, it's yeah,
yeah, a little, yeah.
it's hard
Breaking
for
it up
me.
into and giving myself a fake deadline when I know the real deadline doesn't work.
That did work for me recently for the first time ever.
I think it's because you
I
forgot the real one.
I did forget the real one, and I was like, "Oh, sick! I finished a whole week early." for something. And then I realized that I was like, why don't I always do this? I'm like, I think I try to always do that, but this time it actually works. I forgot the real deadline. So,
Mhm.
Like gaslighting yourself to like believe other than what is true. And I'm like,
yeah,
it just doesn't work for my brain.
it worked this time for me. And I was like, I finished like, yeah, I think like a whole week early writing this one before sending it to the tech editor. And the first time that's ever happened in Toad and So history.
We're making history, Taylor.
I feel like I am kind of the exact opposite of your writer's block process. I can bang through the pattern writing so quick. Designing, I hate doing it. And if I do design anything, it's in spurts every 6 months. And
This is why we're a good team.
I don't like actually making the quilts after I'm done writing it. So I usually try to employ someone else to do that for me because I enjoy the writing and I will hand it off to someone who enjoys getting paid to make the quilt.
Which I find it interesting because sometimes people pay you to make quilts, so you don't mind that.
If it is a job, then I stress myself out enough to say yes and do it.
Okay.
That's the gaslighting on my part.
Yeah, I write my patterns first and then I make it once it's already been tech edited and everything. Like it's already fully written, fully laid out, tech edited, done, and then I make it.
I'm like in between those where I write, I am my first tester. So I use my pattern as I'm making it when I'm done writing. And then it goes to tech editing. Because then I catch any like typos or anything as I'm going through it for the first time. And then I send it
I've
off.
I've been doing double tech editing.
Yeah. I
by
also
Yeah, I
like
mean,
2 rounds of tech editing.
yeah,
yeah, I do double tech editing as well.
by two different people.
Oh, two different people. That's it. I struggle with there's different writings, tech editing styles, so and I struggle with, you know, finding two people that
Are nice
tech
to you.
edit similarly is very hard. Um, even finding one that you, yeah. Does anyone else have any questions for Ashley? What's your plans? Like, do you have any exciting things? Sounds like maybe a new release in the future.
Yeah. Apparently an art show with Anthony Bourdain. Um,
An art
um,
TV show.
yeah, a TV show.
Let's do it.
I
Okay, but
have
like a quilters based kind of tour show based on like
Like you go to their
textiles
house?
and stuff like that. No, like where things are sourced and like the history and so you can
Oh,
do,
okay.
like England, their history of quilting, and then maybe like Asia and all those histories and like what kind of textiles they've
Yeah.
used in the history. And like
like
in
how
America,
it's
obviously
made.
quilting's huge.
How it's made quilting style.
Yeah, that would be really
Just
cool.
factories and me doing voiceover. But for what's next, the pattern I was talking about earlier. Um, sorry, I just yawn all the time.
It's okay. We're boring. It's
I
fine.
it's not you, it's me. The the pattern I was talking about is a collaboration with MQG. It's going into their like pattern library. That'll
Okay.
be out later this month. Um, and in theory, I should have already launched my block of the month,
In theory.
but I'll just keep pushing it. It's a matter of setting
It
up the
can be released at any time.
Flowdesk series, which Olivia already helped me with like 2 years ago. Um, I, I I just am so scared to switch to Flowdesk because I don't want to do it wrong and have it be this thing. And so I need hand holding probably,
Yeah,
but
that'll be great.
It'll be
and then I
fine. You
have
just
a
do it.
Yeah.
just push go. I just like haven't experimented with it, so I don't know like what like the directions are, like what the actual outcome is, I guess. And I've been really bad about organizing my um, mailing list from
Yeah,
the
for those of
start.
you that don't know what Flowdesk is, it's just essentially like a way to send out newsletters. Um, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
so struggle with that. That goes back to like sustainability. Like I'm pretty much maxed out myself, and if I would like to grow bigger, would probably need an assistant or hire things out, which would then require more output or initial investment
yeah.
to like get that going.
Yeah, you kind of
And
hit a point where it's like you hit a head where it's like I need to hire someone to help to make more money, but I need to make more money to hire someone. And it's like
yeah,
you kind of get stuck in like a,
yeah,
I
I'm
yeah,
see
there.
it as a line graph where you're going like this, and then you get to a point where you are your own ceiling,
yeah,
and
exactly.
then you hire someone and you dip a little bit, but then you keep going up because you now have two hands working on something rather
Yeah.
than just yourself.
Yeah,
Like I would not be where I am today if I had never hired Olivia.
yeah,
Toad
that was a
Circle
good
would not
move.
exist.
Toad Circle would have been in shambles month three. It would have crumbled by now. For sure. But yeah, it's a tough thing.
Oh, and then I have a improv e, not ish, pattern coming out next month. The sample is done,
Good.
but I haven't finished the pattern yet, so or writing it. So
Okay, well, be sure to share that in Discord once it's going live.
please do.
Yeah. And then get your flow desk up and running so that when everyone's done, they can keep in touch with you and keep tabs and join your newsletter.
Yeah. It keeps coming to like, okay, next week I gotta do it because I have everything ready to go. Flowdesk is literally the issue.
All right, well, we'll get that. We'll get that
Yeah,
figured out for you.
yeah. So that that's it.
Are you teaching at anything coming up soon that people would be able to, if they're in that area, be able to join?
I'll be teaching in Chicago for H&H, not H&H, but like they've
The
added
fiber
the
and
fiber
festival.
fabric.
Oh, is that before or after H&H?
It's before.
Okay. I I'm confused by that whole. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just allowing myself to be a guinea pig and like let them figure out the kinks because something I want to experience and I have low expectations on what my class size and success will be and just gonna give it a go and we'll see. It's like their first year of doing it, so
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
curious how
it's
that will
a
go.
let's see, fiber.
Kind of like Quilcon, but like there's fiber and yarn and all crafting things, not just quilting.
Yeah. I would
It
say
used to
like
just be just the trade show, so it would be for wholesale, like business to
Business to business.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a booth there this year just for the trade show part. Is trade show the right word? Is this a trade
yeah,
show? I don't feel like
yeah.
business enough.
It's a trade show.
I'm like, but then yeah, then they introduce like a consumer side where there's like an extra week and beforehand that's like similar to Qualcomm. Um,
Yeah, it looks like it's classes are on April 30th, and then the festival itself, where there's booths for people to shop at, is May 1st through the 3rd in Rosemont, which is Chicago,
outside Chicago.
outskirts. Mhm.
I would say like most of the brands that I'm currently working with or have relationships with, they're really looking to break into like Comic-Con and
Mm,
costume creation. All of the sewing machines are really trying to like sewing machine makers are really
brands.
trying to push that. Um, Fabric as well, especially now that there's no Joanne for them to get
Yeah.
those specialty fabrics. So people people are rushing to fill that because
You're
I
like,
mean,
where'd all that fabric go? And like, how do you get it?
yeah, I don't know. Like quilters, we spend a lot of money on our hobby, but we're also like it's based in frugality. So like we're chopping up fabric and like sewing it back together and like using scraps, hopefully mostly, not all the time. But like repurposing what we have while they're creating new costumes all the time or regularly and like reinvest into um, like the consumer side of that.
Yeah, I feel like it's an untapped market right now. I mean, maybe not untapped. I don't really know anything about it, but probably it's a market that needs to be addressed for sure.
I feel like garment fabric and costume fabric and all of that, it's like so hard to locate unless you live in like LA or New York or
I actually,
something.
I actually found like interesting enough when I made my wedding dress, I was like, where do I get like silk fabric? I found this giant warehouse.
That
I
they're
don't
always
know.
like that type of store too, where
Yeah,
everything is
like
just like in a huge building.
it's a huge giant warehouse and like there's no labels on the front. It feels like you're going into like some sketchy place and there's like one family that's running it and it just like you would never know this place exists. I actually don't even remember how I found it. And the prices were I spent like $100 on getting like 8 yards of silk for my
That's like pretty good.
wedding.
Yeah.
I was like I literally spent 150 on my wedding dress total. And yeah, it was very real. I want to go back actually.
Take me there.
Uh
I'll be there this summer.
oh you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know when you're in town.
Yeah, I met
Um,
at QuiltCon. I'll say it was at the bar, but it wasn't like a crazy bar. It was like the hotel bar. And this guy was realizing like what we were all there and being super loud in the lobby for,
yeah.
and like realizing what the convention was. And apparently his family owns like a big warehouse and they're outside of Raleigh and just like trying to move all of this fabric and like these textiles. And it
Wait,
was,
does this guy did he sell like cushion fabric?
yeah, like upholstery.
Yeah, I think he like is living at that hotel.
You think so?
Yeah, because he
You
told
just had
me.
the same conversation with him
Yeah, I
again.
think yeah.
Do you think he's there peddling his
I don't know,
fabrics
dude. I don't. I'm
every
pretty.
time
It has to
QuiltCon
be the
comes
same
in?
person. It like he like
Yeah.
his dad bought this like land or something,
Yep.
and yeah, yeah. He told me he was currently living at the hotel. I was like, what is?
I mean, that's a good hotel to live at, I guess.
It is. That's a really good hotel to live at.
Yeah, must be doing well in the upholstery fabric
That's so funny that we
warehouse.
had the same exact conversation.
Yeah. Um, anyway, just there's so much fabric in existence in the world,
Yeah,
kind of overwhelming.
yeah. Okay, well, probably time to wrap up. Think about
Yeah.
dinner. Gotta go watch Love is Blind after that. Well, no, I should make this quote.
No, you
We're
should
gonna
watch
dive
Love is
into
Blind at the same time.
shows.
Watch Love
Um,
is Blind at the same time.
there's a